Designing your own program can be a really tricky thing, but today I'm going to walk you guys through how I design my programs. To start, every single day starts with the form of mobility, whether we're attacking the hips, the shoulders, T-spine, hip flexors. Maybe we get down to the nitty gritty and try to do some ankle mobility, wrist mobility, things of that nature. But my focus, I really like to focus on the hips, the shoulders, and the T-spine. And again, sometimes those hip flexors tend to get really tight and nagging, so we'll attack those as well. But every single session, we're going to start off with some form of mobility work. This could also lead into mobility could also lead into our activation drills or our isometrics. We could also do things like loaded mobility, where we're using a little bit of weight to help us get into certain positions or stretch certain muscle groups. After that, I really like to incorporate isometrics for every single demographic that I work with. For example, some things like wall sits, glute bridge isometrics, and then face down IYT isometrics are really great activation drills that I use to get obviously the heart rate up and the blood pumping, but to target specific areas that I really want to activate for the session that we have coming up. Next, we usually typically move into some form of dynamic movement. So usually this is going to be medicine ball slams of some sort. And then I really like to incorporate even low level jumps for a lot of people. This could just be things like simple squat jumps or split jumps or even skater jumps, just low level, not really pushing the distance or the height, but just the fluid movement and practicing obviously that jumping explosive ability. I think it has a lot of carryover to everyday life. It has a lot of benefits for all demographics and all populations. So this will obviously be scaled to each individual and their capabilities, but jumps are a very prominent thing in a lot of my training programs. Next, really, this can be, it'll look different for everyone based upon obviously equipment access, goals, skill level, like I said, the capability, but we're going to attack the fundamental movement patterns on all fronts. Some clients will have an upper lower split, some clients will have a full body split, but regardless, the fundamental movement patterns are what I'm going to focus on, whatever the goal is for that day. So squats, hinges, pressing, rowing, carries of all sorts, and then as well as rotational movements and lunges. These are all things that I deem extremely important, but obviously they're fundamental movement patterns for a reason, because we experience and encounter them in every single day life. So they're always going to be mainstays in my programs, because I want the things that my athletes are doing to have transferability to everyday life. I want them to be prepared for whatever they may encounter during their day-to-day. The gym is a very small part of your life, but you can utilize the gym to prepare yourself for life outside of the gym, and that is the approach that I like to take no matter who I'm working with. Next, we're going to incorporate some form of core development, again, from all fronts. This isn't just abdominals. We're going to work the obliques, the hip flexors, the low back muscles, and the glutes as well, because I want to tie everything together to truly teach people how to brace their core under load, and just, again, while they're just honestly even just standing here, learning how to properly breathe with a braced core is extremely important. So it'll look different again for all populations, and some days will have different core movements and other days will have, but we are going to attack the core from all fronts, not just the abdominal muscles. The last two things that I really like to incorporate, without a doubt, high volume band repetition work, accumulating anywhere between 1 to 250 reps of band work per workout. I find this to be extremely helpful for joint integrity and joint health, and I also find this to be helpful for low-level work capacity, muscular endurance, but also a little bit of hypertrophy benefits as well. I think high repetition band work is very useful, especially for athletes, especially for older clients, because this doesn't put as taxing of a strain on their system or their muscles. They're able to get a lot of blood flow into the muscles and the joints, which is extremely beneficial in my opinion. And honestly, why I do such high repetition band work with everyone and myself is for the joint benefits. But it's also, like I said, it's not very taxing. They're not going to a cable machine or using dumbbells and cranking out the reps. They're using a band that's elastic and accommodates the strength curve of the movements they perform very, very well. The last thing is what I like to call armor building. So obviously everyone really likes to use or to get arm pumps in there, shoulder stuff like that. So that's where little minute details like that. So single isolation movements, whether we're doing curls, tricep extensions, lateral raises, hamstring curls. I find that these are all very important in building armor for our body, is how I like to call it, because when we build a little bit of muscle up, we're going to be, like I said, more prepared for everyday life. And life is just going to seem a little bit easier because we have strong muscles that can support us and allow us to move more freely and move with a bit more confidence, because we know we're capable of doing certain things from our time in the gym. So this is how I go about designing a program, no matter who I'm working with. This is my top-down approach. This is essentially the template that I use for every population. Like I said, things in this category are going to look different, things in this category are going to look different, and things in this category are going to look different. But the principles all apply to all populations. And this template, this design, I have found fits for every single person. It works extremely well. It does a really good job of, like I said, attacking mobility, activation, ensuring that we have a main movement that we're attacking that day, as well as pairing that with some accessories that are going to prepare us for everyday life. And then obviously some form of core development, high repetition band work, and then a little bit of armor building, all kind of encompassed in one, depending on the movements that you pick, obviously. This is just all around development, all around attacking everything from all fronts, in my opinion. And when you design it a certain way, we can also get a really beneficial conditioning effect from this by pairing certain things with each other, and obviously attacking that as well. So this is just, like I said, this is how I like to go about designing a program. These are things that I deem very important, that need to be staples in my programming, no matter who I'm working with. And they're probably always going to stay, because these things are effective. They've been proven effective time and time again over the years. They're staples in very, very good coaches' programming. And so I have also seen very great results with everyone that I've had utilize these things. And so when I see results and I see beneficial things come out of the things I'm having my people do, it's going to be hard to argue to change that. So if you find yourself confused on how to set up your own program, or you just don't want to take the time to do so, please reach out to me, as I offer many different things that can handle your needs, from training programs that are already mapped out and laid out for you between 8 and 16 weeks. I offer customized programming to where I can take in your needs, your goals, and the equipment that you have access to specifically, and create a program that is just for you individually. And then obviously I offer one-on-one coaching, where I can also help you with any nutritional goals that you have alongside that custom programming option. So I have a lot of different things that you guys can take advantage of, and I really appreciate all of you guys' support. Every single subscription, and share for my videos helps the business and helps me continue to put out really good content and high-level education for you guys. So if you received any benefit from this video, please like and share this video. Reach out to me with any questions that you may have. And if you want to get set up on your own custom programming, or if you want to dive into my one-on-one coaching option, please shoot me an email and let's get started today.